Good morning and welcome to Goodwood, the Festival of Speed 2016.
Really cool, you know, just to be amongst it all. There's so much motorsport heritage, and just there's nothing like Goodwood Festival of Speed.
And it's still geared for like 360 k's, so my wheel speed coming up the hill is just insane. And as you can imagine, 1400 between the hay bales, and it's kind of muddy and damp under the trees. It's scary up there.
Jenny, thank you very much indeed, and a very good morning, and welcome everybody to Festival Sunday for 2016, the 24th edition of the Goodwood Festival of Speed. Cars already underway on the start line there. I can see Marcus Prix is down there, my eyes and ears at the start line. Marcus, you've got an epic view down there, my friend.
I have indeed, and it's a beautiful morning down here in the avenue. Cars and trucks already on the hill. We've got the short Audi Quattro in stage here that David Llewellyn's been driving this weekend. Absolutely fantastic. We've had some really hot NASCAR stuff. There's a Lancia Stratos appearing from my right with that Ferrari V6 engine transversely across the back of the little sort of wedge-shaped bullet.
Marcus, I think you may well find the Audi is held back for a moment. Andrew Franzone has spun the Toyota Tundra. Replay on the screen. It was very spectacular off the line, and he's come into the second part of the fast corner, and it's got away from him, and he's tipped it across the grass and has come to rest on the course. Thrown up a bit of mud there. There's a replay. Comes around the first part of the first corner, flicks it sideways and spins, drags a little bit of dirt onto the apex there. We may need to get that one swept up before we carry on.
The Llewellyn Quattro has been restarted. We've got Andy Jordan in this group as well, first of our BTCC cars of the day. He's been quickest of that bunch to date, and there's a lot of need, a lot of competition between them, as it would be if they were in a BTCC round at one of the circuits.
What a wonderful sight down there on the start line. The huge boom high above you with the camera on the end. We get some wonderful aerial shots of that warbling 5-cylinder Group B turbo Audi Quattro. There it is off the line. Di Llewellyn, 2 times a British rally champion. Give him a wave and a cheer when he comes past you. Very, very sideways. He throws the Group B Quattro into the second part of the first corner, howls along in front of the house and under the bridge and up to my commentary position at Moulcombe. Here he comes over the brow. Stands it on its nose, down the box, hard on the brakes, flicks it into the left-hander at Moulcombe, inch perfect from a man who won lots of rallies in period.
The next up, NASCAR, the Napa Auto Parts cars, James Wood driving it this morning. Lotus Elite, I remember, with LOV1 on it way back.
Yep. Competed with Andy Dawson, even Welsh Formula 1 ace Tom Price had a go in a checkered flag Stratos. James Wood taking it very easy in the NASCAR, perhaps a little bit slippery out there for him this morning. Mauro Ambrogi in the checkered flag Stratos, the V6 Ferrari Dino rear-engined rally weapon. ultra-futuristic and 3 times a manufacturer's World Championship winning car in the 1970s.
He'll be second car on track behind the Renault 5 Maxi Turbo.
Caption on the screen said Andy Benser in the Franz Wurz Lancia Stratos. Andy, a former British Rallycross Grand Prix winner with a Quattro, of course. So we've seen Franz Wurz and son Alexander, Grand Prix driver and Le Mans winner, in a car that Alex bought back for his father many years after he won the European Rallycross title with it. Jean Ragnotti there in the Renault 5 Maxi Turbo, car in which he won the Tour de Corse rally in 1985. A superstar Frenchman. Always good to have Jean Ragnotti here at the Festival of Speed.
Behind the BTCC cars, which are on track for Adam Morgan's Wicks Assisted Motorsport Mercedes, is one of the really quick Group B rally cars. This one very well driven by Ender Garvey this weekend, the Peugeot. Jeff Page Racing repaired engine.
Wonderful turbo four-wheel drive Group B Peugeot 205 T16, one of the most iconic Group B rally cars from that fabulous but perilous era of World Championship rallying in the 1980s. This car a winner in the hands of Ari Vatanen, Juha Kankkunen, Timo Salonen, multiple World Rally Championship winning machine. Great enthusiast and collector Irishman Ender Garvey. We've seen him in previous festivals in the awesome 405 Pikes Peak Peugeot, the turbo four-wheel steer, four-wheel drive machine. But he's in the 205 this weekend. There's another iconic Group B rally car and rallycross winner, the Metro 6R4. Rear engine, 3-litre, 6-cylinder. This one resplendent in the Piper Cams Silkaline livery, made so famous in rallycross by Will Gollop.
And also by Tiffany Dell, who drove it, didn't he?
That's right, and he was competitive, wasn't he, in the late 80s?
Alfa Romeo GTAM is...
Gorgeous little Alfa 1750 GT AM, 2-litre 4-cylinder machine. Gianfranco Gentile in this car. AM, of course, for America. It's a car that raced in America in period. Winner of the Sebring 12 Hours. And driven to such good effect in European Touring Car Championship races as well. In the days when the championship was a class structure, had numerous wins. Drivers such as the great Dutchman Twan Hetzelmans.
We've got some madness coming now. We've got the drift cars. They'll be cleaning the track ground, Malcolm, won't they, Henry?
Yes, indeed. Toby Moody has arrived back in the commentary box just in time to catch a bit of drift. Martin Richards in the Skyline R33. This thing, Toby, never straight. If it's going straight, it's going wrong, isn't it?
Absolutely. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Goodwood once more, and the sun is getting higher and brighter as the speed and the rev limiters is getting higher and higher as well. These cars are just brilliant, aren't they? I've never been to a Formula Drift race, but maybe I should.
Yes, yeah, I'll come with you, mate. Look at the way the Scandinavian flick got the car sliding to the right and flicked it back perfectly.
It's the Irish flick now. It's James Dean.
Yes. Inch perfect, the near side wheel just kissing the apex at Morecambe. Here's James Dean in the Nissan Silvia. And the car's, of course, set up to go sideways all day long. Hydraulic handbrakes, really long, lazy steering racks that get plenty of lock when they are absolutely crossed up.
Big power, big drift, big in Japan, of course, this, big in America, and it's growing in Europe year on year. And the skill and the precision and the positioning that these drivers have with their cars is just absolutely amazing. Talking about amazing.
On the line is His Madness Mike Widdett of New Zealand.
It is madness.
We're on
riding on board with Mike Widdett, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Mazda RX-8, and I only learned yesterday some near 1,000 horsepower. He took Lord March up the hill. Listen to this Mazda Rotary. We're riding on board with Mike Widdett from New Zealand. Here he is in the UK, and wherever you are watching the live stream around the world, you are riding with one of the star cars of Goodwood Festival of Speed, full stop.
Big yank on the lever of fever as he comes over the brow into Molecombe. Tortured rear tyres, massively sideways. There we are on board with Mike. And it's all a bit calm at the wheel, isn't it? He's just feeding the wheel using that huge extension to the handbrakes. It's right by his hand.
He's been waving out the window whilst on complete opposite lock.
Yeah, it's not even 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning. What on earth?
All in a day's work.
All in a day's work. He's still going up the hill on the dirt. Those wheels, they doth protest as we have another view of Mike. Eyes glaring through the aperture of that crash helmet. And a real superstar that has come to Goodwood only in the last couple of years. And it's one of the top 10 cars, one of the top 10 attractions.
Invite for life. Yes, as you say, took Lord March up yesterday for a run, and he absolutely loved it.
This looks like Bagsy, European champion. He's got a V8 in this. He had a turbo a couple of years ago. Steve Bagsy, they call him, in this Nissan 200.
What did you have for breakfast? I had a couple of donuts.
And lunch, and tea, and dinner.
Bagsy, Steve Baggioni, absolutely fantastic. The crowd disappearing behind a wall of acrid tyre stench smoke. They've gone. Everybody's disappeared. Oh no, there they are. Getting launches the Mustang off the line.
Yeah, a couple of cars ago, Bagsy went, and I think poor Donna here got some special rubber tyre hairspray.
Luke Woodham's had to open the door to avoid asphyxiation from his own tyre smoke. A quick waft, let it go.
Is this top of the pops?
Yeah, hashtag dry ice.
Now this is Vaughan Gittin Jr. Oh, sideways, absolutely sideways as he was on the way into Molecombe. This for me is one of the great sounding cars here at Goodwood this year. Not that there are any bad ones, but this is one of my favourites. He did a burnout on the way down the hill in front of the commentary position yesterday and left a pile of rubber about an inch high behind the car. Just sat there, completely stationary, rear wheels, probably doing 100 miles an hour, wearing the rubber out until they were down to the canvas. You do know that Ken Block, with his tyres when doing Gymkhana with either the Ford Escort, the Ford... Oh, and we've had a bit of an off here in front of us as the drift car continues up the hill on the main screens, but the MG has had a bit of a moment and indeed is reversing out. It's only a bit of a kiss into those bales, and I think that Ashley Sutton may well have got away with it. And
Peter Pentel's on his way though, guys.
Yeah, he's going to get red flagged, isn't he? Yeah, reds are flown. Peter Pentel jumps on the brakes in that outlandish Lancia Delta clone, the time attack monster.
See that again, it says Speed Hunters on the side, and this extraordinary Lancia clone will be back with us.
Here's the MG though. It's very slippery on the way into Molecombe, and he's on the brakes. He's turning the wheel as little as he dare, but there's no chance at all with this very slimy, damp surface that we've got here. It's been cleaned by the Goodwood crew, but it just needs a couple more runs maybe for the track to dry out. It's still very early in the morning here at Goodwood, 8:45, and there's no heat in the tyres, no tyre warmers being used here this weekend, so there's going to be no chance at all of getting round. What a shame.
Yeah, Ash Sutton then in the end. He was a winner in the NASCAR Nationwide, the second division series. An absolute monster on the line, the Ford RS200, the Pikes Peak beast. And it's Rallycross legend Pat Doran, isn't it?
Pat Doran on the hill with this RS200. Jeff Svart in the meantime with his Porsche on his way up towards the top. The turbocharged car popping and belching flame as he's going through the bales.
It's now of that first batch of the morning. And we started with our NASCAR Chevrolet. Ed Berrier in the X. Dale Earnhardt Jr. Chevrolet Nationwide machine. Pat Duran was out in the fearsome and fabulous Ford RS200 Pikes Peak car. Look at the aero on that machine, a slow-mo as Pat works to harness that power as he guides it through Molecombe and away up the hill through the Flint Wall. Ollie Clark, our fastest man of the weekend so far. He was a winner 12 months ago in this staggering 700 plus horsepower Subaru Impreza gobstopper. Inch perfect through the Flint Wall, past the bales and up to the top, towards the top of the hill. Not as quick as he was the other day in a dry run. It's still a little bit greasier out there. But, if the sun stays out this morning, we will get some faster times. Andrew Jordan watching on the monitors there. Ellen Law absolutely lighting up the rear wheels on the European truck racing spec Mercedes. There's our drift boys and our touring car stars watching on the monitors up there. Ken Block not going for a time, it's all about the show, and there he is pirouetting the Fiesta RX 43. Makes you dizzy just looking at it, doesn't it? He's safely to the top, and hopefully Bruce will grab a word with our Gymkhana star.
These are the three Voisin cars. We've never seen them before. Leading the way is the LSR, the Land Speed Record one, which has two four-cylinder engines stitched together to make a straight 8. Produces masses of power. Didn't even have a gearbox in period, but it must have now. And the third one is the Laboratoire. Has had troubles here at Goodwood Friday and Saturday. A rear tyre burst, damaged the wheel. They've worked like crazy all overnight to refix it. They pumped that tyre up really high this time, and they're confident that this time it'll reach the top.
I'm pretty sure you don't get a spare tyre for a Voisin Laboratoire at Quick Fit in Chichester, do you?
Well, they could have phoned and tried.
Yes.
You what, mate? It's got a propeller on the front, and I've just been speaking to the people in the Voisin, and I stupidly forgot to ask them what the propeller was for.
It doesn't quite look beefy enough to pull it along.
I think it probably pumped. Oh,
Brilliant.
no hands.
No hands. Fantastic.
I think what it probably does is pump up the fuel pressure, something like that.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
350 horsepower Sunbeam, and there's the Honda with that glorious V12, wonderful exhaust pipes. The back, I think Lola chassis, am I right?
That's right. Yeah, it was called initially the Hondola, wasn't it? It's the tie-up between Honda and Lola.
Music. Got lots of music today. And there's a lovely example of it.
Don't forget that if you are here and you pick up a copy of the programme, comes complete with an entry supplement detailing all the cars and bikes you'll see on the course. Also comes with an ear. Lovely shot of Ben Collins there, head down behind the wheel, trying to get out of the airstream to carry a bit more speed over the line. He crosses the line in the Mercedes 60 HP. A high five for his riding mechanic.
We'll see the Mercedes in a second. Oh no, we've got Mike Vardy on the Fiat Isotta Fraschini, drifting past the Flint Wall.
What a machine.
Lovely slide through there, sitting behind the rear axle. We were worried yesterday about the bonnet coming open, but it didn't. Very complex chain drive forward to the rear axle. All sorts of geometrical problems they've overcome. And it's an airship engine. How about that?
I can't believe how quick that thing is. That's absolutely wonderful, isn't it? 16.5 litre six-cylinder car, built in 1905, 111 years old.
I asked Jochen just now if this car has any race history, and it does. It raced in the States. I think they made 3 of them, but I've never seen apart from the one that was modified in America, I've never seen an open-top 300 SL before.
No, we've seen Susie Wolff and Sir Sterling Moss in this car, haven't we, over the course of the past 2 days. And there is Jochen Maas, Grand Prix winner for McLaren in 1975, a Le Mans winner with Mercedes in 1989, and probably, Chris, one of the most capped Goodwooders in terms of FOS appearances and revival race meetings.
This is the most amazing recreation by Mercedes-Benz of the 540k Streamliner from the mid-30s. Early attempts by Mercedes to produce aerodynamics that meant you could cruise all day down the autobahns at over 100 miles an hour.
Is that a unique machine?
Absolutely unique, and they recreated it from drawings. Sally Mason-Steeren in the little Barchetta, the 166 Ferrari, Barchetta means little boat, and it is a little boat. As you were saying, Henry, yesterday, sister car to the 1949 Le Mans winner, Luigi Chinetti and Lord Selson.
Yeah, Peter Mitchell Thompson.
Was theirs an open one or a closed one? I think
Open, wasn't it?
But here's...
Look at the heat haze from that, Chris. The Fiat S76 of Duncan Pittaway. All 28.3 litres of four-cylinder grunt. The chassis rocks as Duncan stabs the throttle to get the huge Italian Leviathan off the line.
Let me give you some statistics on this car. 1911, 135 miles an hour. It went off to Australia. Duncan Pittaway found the chassis. No one would believe that it was the genuine chassis. Fiat did, and have helped him enormously with the 8-10 year rebuild of this car. And Duncan drove it here in convoy with Ben Collins on the 60 horsepower mower.
It's incredible, isn't it? Got it ready in time for the Festival of Speed last year, and one of the most watched videos, Chris, on the Goodwood Road and Racing site is Duncan Pittaway taking Lord March for a drive around the Goodwood estate.
Don't stand by the left-hand side of this car when Duncan starts it up. You'll get your collar singed.
Yes, indeed.
Chain drive again, of course.
En route now is one of the only two V8 RI Maseratis I've ever seen. And coming to the line, the wonderful 1966 American Grand Prix winning Lotus 43 with the BRM 816 engine. Andy Middlehurst in the cockpit.
Marcus, good morning. It's noisy for you down there.
It's wonderful. It's the best type of noise. Music, I prefer to call it.
Wonderful shots from the overhead boom camera as the start line crew get Andy Middlehurst away in a car that took one Grand Prix win at Watkins Glen for the US Grand Prix in 1966 in Jim Clark's hands. And Andy Middlehurst looking, Chris, to all intents and purposes exactly like Jim, with that trademark dark blue helmet, the white peak, the period overalls. Wonderful.
What does H16 mean? It means two flat 8 engines, one on top of the other. Tony Rudd, the great engineer, admits this was his biggest mistake. Great complex engine for the 3-litre formula, and it never really worked. It was too complicated. Should have been simple, because it effectively is two of the little 1.5-litre V8s flattened out and put one on top of the other, but too much oil, too much water, most of which fell out. But it got one Grand Prix win.
They were even topping up the fluids on the grid at Watkins Glen that day, and somehow the car contrived to not fail, and Clark won the race.
And that was an engine borrowed from BRM, because the one that was in the car to start with failed.
That really is, could be Watkins Glen 1967.
Glorious, isn't it? Andy Middlehurst, well known to many of you who attend the revival meeting at the nearby motor circuit, 5 times the winner of the 1.5-litre Grand Prix race, the Glover Trophy, in the Lotus 25, also prepared immaculately by Classic Team Lotus. David and Andrea Robertson celebrated their 7th wedding anniversary by finishing 26th overall and 3rd in class at Le Mans 5 years ago in this very car.
Simon Blake in the proper racing GT40, 40 inches high, needs a bubble over the driver's door, top of the driver's door, for making space for the crash helmet. You probably saw the GT40 race at last year's members meeting.
This year's members meeting.
This year's members.
Yeah, back in March. Absolutely. Yeah, the Alan Mann Trophy for a packed grid of wonderful Ford GT40s, and predictably, it was ultra competitive, wasn't it?
It was.
And Simon Blake, preparer of that GT40 for the Hendersons, father and son. Gavin and Laurie.
I think this is the prototype GT40.
It is.
They had a lot of trouble getting the aerodynamics right. John Whitmore spent a lot of time stopping the thing from lifting on the straight.
It's the very first car to race, actually. And there we come rather more modern. Timo Witt in the ex-Hans-Joachim Stuck Audi V8 Quattro, a DTM winner. We saw Frank Bieler in the car yesterday. He won the championship a year later. Go for the first time today up to our Forest Rally stage, one of the most popular elements of the Festival of Speed, designed by former world champion Hannu Mikkola, and it's a pretty tight and technical course up there in the woods. Xavier McCartan and Tony Jardine are our commentators up there. Fellas, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Now, there is plenty of fun and fever up there in the Forest Rally stage, isn't there?
There certainly is, and what happened this morning, Henry, I went out in one of the course cars and taken down to see just what condition the stage was in, and as you're looking at the pictures of the Lotus Cortina, you can see, and Steve Smith there in the 260Z, it is pure slime. It is absolutely, with the chalk base and the water and all the rain we've had, it is remarkably slippy, but all the competitors are up here having a go. We've got a brief stoppage at the moment, and you can see all the kind of cars from a 1958 Beetle right through to a 2016 Super 2000 car, and they're all attacking the stage with verve, including Ginil de Villiers, the 2009 Dakar winner. So yeah, we encourage people to come up here, because when they do come up, Henry, they're having a fantastic time, and it is an absolute spectacle.
Guys, the variety of cars is outstanding. Lancia Fulvias, Porsche 911s, Vauxhall Forenzas, Ford Focus. I saw a Lancia 037 Martini Group B car. Astounding. A Metro 6R4. There's something for fans of rallying of all eras, isn't there?
There is, and it's great when you get an ear out with the spectators, mums and dads out here, and sons who are into the modern versions of rally cars, talking about the older versions of rally cars with their dads who remember Sunbeams and Vauxhalls you've just seen. There's a great variety up here, and we have been spoiled rotten the last couple of days.
And a bit like the main Festival of Speed down at the bottom here, the paddocks are very much open, and fans can come and get close to the cars, can't they, and take lots of pictures.
Well, they can, because we have a service area, the quadrangle at the top, and we tell people, you know, there's even a wheel change competition going on with Rob Gill's WD-40 team. They can win a VIP trip to a rally for the weekend, but all the cars are lined up, and the drivers and co-drivers and teams are very, very happy to talk to people, and in fact have been giving some lucky spectators rides in cars, and some of the marshals as well, junior marshals, have had rides, including one with Ginil de Villiers, which was very, very special. So it's all happened. There's great camaraderie up here, great spirit, and we are looking after the folk who make the trip to the top of the hill.
You can see Rob Gill's Ford Fiesta there, and he took Keanu Reeves for a spin yesterday, didn't he, the Hollywood superstar?
Yeah, he did, and it was great because it was really blowing a hoolie and the rain was lashing down, but Keanu loved it, absolutely loved it, and there was some trepidation at the start, but he was still managing a smile, and Rob Gill did a phenomenal job because he didn't hold back. He was bouncing off the banks, as he is a bit this morning. You can't help but do that because you just lose control in parts, as even the course car did this morning. But you use the banks to slow you down, Henry.
Yeah, a bit like the Swedish rally, but more slippery. Guys, just quickly, who and what are the pace setters over the course of the weekend?
We've had some cracking times. I mean, in the Prix 1984 class, Ben Mellors in the recently rebuilt Toyota RA40 is leading that class. The 84 to 2000 class, Gary Lecoudot set some stunning times on Friday and yesterday. He's currently heading John Saunders in the Metro 6R4. And in the class 2000 to date, again, Stephen Page, as Tony was saying, has been driving superbly, but as has David Wright in the ex-Carlos Sainz Ford Focus World Rally car. And Jason Sharp in the Isuzu D-Max hasn't been afraid to throw it at the circuit and the stage here for the last couple of days as well.
Good stuff, guys. Thank you very much indeed for the time being. We're going to carry on with action down here on the hill climb. Xavier and Tony, your commentators up at the Forest Rally stage, do take the time to get up there and watch some of the most iconic rally cars up there doing battle on the Forest Rally stage. Thanks, guys. We'll catch up with you later on. We're going to be right back with action here on the main hill climb in a few moments. Before that, we'll hear some messages from our commercial partners.
Down the avenue, and then Gallic down. Reunited with the 99 Le Mans winning V12.
Wonderful stuff. Yannick Damas giving the V12 LMR BMW Le Mans prototype. The full beans down on the start line. The great Frenchman who won Le Mans 4 times for 4 different manufacturers, including in 1999 for BMW. And there's the long-tail F1 GTR, the BMW Motorsport FINA liveried car, raced in period by Steve Soper and JJ Leto. Winner in the FIA GT Championship, of course. Every important BMW competition car or bike is here. Anything in those legendary motorsport stripes of BMW looking really cool. One of the Z4 GT3 cars doing huge donut down there on the approach to Goodwood House. That's chased by the M4 DTM machine. You can see the wonderful BMW Junior Team 320, Kevin Cooper's car, the ex-Eddie Cheever machine. The winged and swollen arched 320. Troy Corser up there in the top paddock trying to get through a rear tyre. The BMW S1000 RR Superbike. She of course in the hands of Ian Hutchinson and Michael Dunlop, won all the big races in the Ironman TT just a few weeks ago. Wonderful sight. Kevin Cooper's 320 comes over the brow into Moulcombe. Gets it safely turned in. It's getting drier and drier out here. The mud has been scraped off or swept away by the marshals. The temperature is not high at the moment, but we have no rain. Hopefully the course will dry out fully for our timed shootout later on this afternoon. On the line, the March 86G, the BMW turbo-powered IMSA prototype. Great looking bit of kit that one is. Kevin Cooper across the line, stops the clock at 71.04, 87.9 miles an hour. Thomas Garrod in the March BMW 86G. Car driven in period by Davy Jones and John Watson in the American equivalent of the Group C World Championship, the IMSA, International Motorsports Association GTP series, P for prototype. We've also got GTO and GTU cars here as well, the production-based IMSA sports cars. One of our race to recovery buggies on the course as well, and I saw Patrick Blakeney-Edwards there in BMW CSL. So Charles Sincock, isn't it, in the McRae Enduro Evo, a car designed and built by the late great Colin McRae. There's Patrick Blakeney-Edwards in the Jägermeister BMW CSL Batmobile, owned by Peter Mullen. Wonderful orange livery of the Jägermeister BMW CSL Batmobile, a car Patrick absolutely adores, loves driving this car. Says how fortunate he is to be allowed to race it and drive it at the Festival of Speeds by its owner, Peter Mullen. Turbo F1 cars of the 1980s out on the course now, always hugely popular. Wonderful sight. Katsu Kubota in the ex-Ayrton Senna Lotus Renault, the 97T from 1985. And Kubota wearing a tribute helmet to Ayrton Senna. His own colours on one side and the memorable Brazilian colours of Ayrton Senna on the other. Lights on the screen now of that. We kicked off with the Bugatti Chiron. We'd seen it half an hour before when Lord March went up the hill in it. Matt, that's I mean, just it takes the Veyron to a whole new level, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, 50% as much power again as the original Veyron. So yes, up to 1500 horsepower and really pushing the limits of where you can go fast and tyre technology to do it.
We've got the latest Alpine, the French manufacturer, back in the game. The Aston Martin Vulcan, very much a track-focused weapon.
Yeah.
The DB11 making its world debut here at the Festival of Speed. Really is that kind of like the British Motor Show now.
It is, yeah, absolutely. I mean, all the manufacturers I speak to say precisely that. And the number of new model reveals and unveils and debuts like this AMG GTR, I think, really reflects that now.
Yeah, Koenigsegg been coming to the Festival of Speed for a number of years. The Porsche 918 Weissach, an even quicker and more alarming version of Porsche's hypercar. The Lexus LFA and it's looking like a GT3 car, that. The McLaren 675 Longtail.
Yeah, I didn't realise how sideways that go around the first corner.
Yeah, the F1 GTR, I love that livery, the James Hunt helmet colours in this, the 40th anniversary of his world title for McLaren. David Pittard hammering along in the Lotus 311 track day car.
Yeah, oh, totally, yeah, completely. Yeah, V6 engine in the middle, unbelievably fast. Sort of like taking all the body off an Exige, if you like. And yes, it's very much a track day special, but road legal, you can take it on there if you want.
Mini tank slapper from the Vool there, as the new Honda NSX hybrid goes hammering across the line. Ollie Webb in the BAC mono single seat racer for the road, and that extraordinary Caterham. Oh, that's going quick, isn't it?
Also going sideways, isn't it? Very, very quick. I think maybe a few of them think they're still being timed like yesterday afternoon.
Fantastic. Slow-mo of the great Derek Bell in the Bentley Bentayga. And a number of very, very trick AMG Mercedes and the Tesla Model X.
Uh, 1990, the second season of the all normally aspirated engine formula. V10 Renault in the back of this. Grand Prix winner with Thierry Boutsen at the Hungaro Ring. And it's Karen Chantok who is at the wheel. You've seen him on the TV as well.
The Williams team doing great work. The Williams Classic team doing great work, restoring a great many of their earlier races. They've kept them in storage for a long time. Now they're bringing them out, giving them perfect rebuilds. Some of them are for sale. And with great cooperation from Renault in terms of engine rebuilds. Now
we go from a V10 3.5 litre from 1990 with the Williams to a 1991 McLaren Honda 3.5 V12. This is an ex-Ayrton Senna car. Just take that in for a moment and just listen to a V12 on full song.
Matsushita, extremely skillful.
This is the car that took Ayrton Senna to his third crown, and the last car to have won a world championship with a manual transmission. Didn't know that. You do now.
You do, and Stoffel.
And look at the massive crowd here on the exit of the Molecombe corner here at Goodwood, listening to a Marlboro McLaren Honda, a V12, a 3.5 litre engine howling its way up the English countryside on a hill climb, and then followed up by the three-time world champion Jackie Stewart from 1969, 1971, 1973.
In John Surtees Lola T70. Legendary car, legendary driver.
Let's go over to our commentary team. Henry Hope-Frost leads it for us today.
It's, thank you, Jenny. It's actually Toby here, but the commentary microphones are still red hot. Now, there's all sorts of action going on the hill, but there's also a load of action going on up in the rally stage as well, at the top of the hill, with a great view over the west, this part of the UK. There you have on the big screens, there you have on your live stream a view of the start line for the rally stage, and I believe, Javier, you're having another great day up there.
Yeah, it has been non-stop up here. The rain is held off and the course is slowly drawn out. You'll run through some highlights. Bob Beale in the 1954 Volkswagen, the Lotus Cortina. Simon Wallace has been very good with us today. And we've had some great action so far, with plenty more to come this afternoon. Lots of people coming up from down with you at the hill, making their way up through the forest. They can stop off take time, take a break, and just watch these glorious vehicles in the stage.
And you've not just got some cars on the actual rally stage, but you've got a lot more in your rally service area. How many have you got in total?
There's somewhere in the region of 80, 85 cars, and the beauty about it, Toby, is not everything that we see on the screen is actually what we have up here. There's a plethora of mint X-Works cars that are on static display. We have a Lancia Delta S4 for sale up here if anybody is in the mood to come up and have a chat.
Yes, oh, you shouldn't have told me that.
Yep.
You shouldn't have told me that at all.
I can tell by the silence, sir, that you've just taken on board what I said. But I mean, yeah, this is the thing. S4 Deltas, Audi Quattro S1s. There's right smack in the middle. We have 5 or 6 Audi cars, Group 4, Group A, and the Audi 200, the big heavy car. If you remember when we went over to Group A, it's an amazing collection up here.
Great to see, including the ex-Harry Toivonen Metro there. That's great to see. Thank you so very much. Tony Jardine and Javier at the top of the hill. We'll be joining you again later. Speak to you then. In the meantime, we are going to crack on with our next batch. We don't stand still here with the Goodwood Festival of Speed. This is Class 21, the Americana.
At the wheel, Chris Ward, hero of the Goodwood revival in the Bob Tullius XJS. Trans Am car, beautifully prepared by JD Classics. Listen to that glorious V12 run Morecambe. Chris Ward hops into anything and drives it beautifully.
He was on the anchors here, wasn't he, Chris? And he's on a run, isn't he? This is a great run with the 5.3 litre V12 Jaguar, drifting it one way, drifting it through the long corners, and there's the crests, the top of this 1.16 mile hill climb. Great.
What a run. Fabulous. Chris Ward gradually slowing down. He'll be up with Bruce.
Era where Hans Stuck was over there as well with the Audi, with that great big GTO, the four-wheel drive concept that they took after the end of Group B rallying, and a great era in American racing. Meanwhile, let's go back to the UK.
The fabulous XJ13 Jaguar. Jaguar designed this car, destined it for Le Mans, V12 4-cam engine, but it missed. Norman Dewis, testing it at Myra, had a monumental accident in it, crawled out, having cartwheeled. He ducked down into the passenger footwell, crawled out through the mud, and fortunately, Jaguar rebuilt it. It's perfect now.
Yes, it looks as if it's doing 100 miles an hour when it's standing still. And look how the evolution of aerodynamics has come on from 1966 to 2016 with the Renault sports car in the One Make series. Looks magnificent, that. I've always had a bit of a soft spot for that Renault. The fact that it, with its aerodynamic Venturi, its wings and everything, just brilliant. Now,
must be the lowest Can-Am car of all.
8.1 litre V8. Think about that. 8.1 litres, 8 cylinders. Okay, let's bring ourselves a little bit more up to date with our sports modern GT cars. This is the Mercedes-Benz SLS AMG, a GT3 car, 6.2 litre V8 engine. We brought this car here today from Mercedes-Benz Classic, the kind of car that you're seeing at racing nowadays in a golden era of GT racing, wherever you are around the world, Bathurst, Spa, Dubai, and of course, the Nordschleife. What about Le Mans, though? Let's go back to the Sauber Mercedes, 1989, Jochen Mass at the wheel. Right driver, right car, brilliant race.
And Jochen, driver coach, coached Michael Schumacher, coached Carl Wendlinger, not on how to drive, they could do that, but how to make the best of the car at Le Mans.
Topped over 245 miles an hour on the Mulsanne straight. That's a lot quicker than they do nowadays.
These cars, one of these cars racing still in Group C racing. Now Andy Newell in the fabulous McLaren 9 litres. The Denny and Bruce show, the Bruce and Denny show in Can-Am, 129 miles an hour, Andy over the finishing line. Now the Hepworth boys have worked like crazy to restore this wonderful BRMP 154 Can-Am car.
Yeah, the Hepworth crew have been busy. Stephen Hepworth 8-litre V8, BRM's first sports car. Tony Southgate penned it, and he went on to pen all sorts of stuff, including the silk-cut Jaguar that was victorious at Le Mans in '88. Next up, we've got the Nissan, the IMSA Group C car, the turbocharged Nissan that was so dominant over stateside, had a crack at Le Mans, together with the European cars that were built in Milton Keynes with Nissan Motorsports Europe. But unfortunately, they never quite cracked the Le Mans 24 hours. They brought a great big family of red, white and blue cars, but it was not to be, even though Mark Blundell set that tremendous pole position that we've all seen on YouTube.
275 GTB, luckily he wasn't balked, quickly round the top left-hander and 122 miles an hour over the finishing line. Now noise personified with the Le Mans winning Mazda.
The 1991 Le Mans winning Mazda. Bertrand Gachot, Johnny Herbert, Volker Wiedler, who drove the car at the Circuit de la Sarthe 25 years ago. Valentino Rossi drove this car here last year, and the Mazda rotary engine still a fan favourite.
Didn't it cost Volker his hearing?
Absolutely, he had tinnitus after his win.
I nearly did. I was there for that Le Mans. Golly, it was peaceful when it stopped.
A friend of mine who was enjoying himself at one of the hostelries would stand up and salute every time it came past.
We had supper halfway down the Mulsanne Straight, and you knew when the Mazda was coming.
And still the only Japanese manufacturer to win Le Mans. How close were Toyota this time last week?
That was heartbreak, wasn't it?
Oh, it was total heartbreak, total heartbreak. A turbo pipe failure between the turbo and the intercooler been the cause. Meanwhile, let's bring ourselves up to date with the McLaren 650S, the GT3 car. Duncan Tappy at the wheel. Mean looking machine, that'll be a classic. This is a classic. This is the Porsche GT1 1998 car, sister car to the one that won Le Mans in 1998, yes, with Alan McNish, Yannick Damas, Laurent Aiello at the wheel, was it, if my memory serves? But great to see this one.
Mind you, it's hot.
Oh yes, built by the M Sport crew, headed by Malcolm Wilson up in Cumbria, and heading the brand new, well, not quite brand new, but ever-expanding global project of Bentley and Motorsport. Okay, let's go back to Le Mans again. This is a car, sister car to the one that Emanuele Pirro drove at Le Mans for the very first time in 1981. 1.4-litre turbocharged Lancia Beta Monte Carlo.
Built by Abarth for the 2-litre Group 5 GT category, driven by Stefano Macaluza. If he's driving it today, I think he is.
I've still got a model of this from when I was young. I found it in a box in the loft, and I've given it to my 1-year-old. Now this has got TV written on the side of it because it had a camera in it during a Nürburgring race in which Richard Atwood drove, and now he's driving the TV car. He said, I can't remember who was driving the TV camera car, but it was filming me during the race at the Nordschleife.
Little Porsche 906, followed by the Renault Alpine V6. Michel Leclerc,
1978 Alpine Renault, the tiny little 2-litre turbocharged V6, propelling this car to 236 miles an hour down the Mulsanne Straight. A little bit unreliable, but eventually in 1978, Renault did win Le Mans with Pironi and Jean-Pierre Jossot, 4 laps ahead of second place.
Now, flat 12. Beautiful Alfa Romeo T33, 48-valve flat 12 engine. Giuseppe Carlo driving it, Corbia driving it. A lot of Alfa 33s were built with titanium connecting rods, and they all melted away.
Yes, this is a car that was turbocharged as well. So even more power from a 3-litre flat 12. You could just imagine that coming down the home straight at Mugello, out of the final corner and up towards San Donato on a sunny day in Tuscany at a World Sports Car Championship race. But it's here at Goodwood, and that's why we love Goodwood, because we recreate history and we take a step back in time. Meanwhile,
they've got trouble again. And this is the wonderful McLaren F1 Longtail.
This is the Longtail GTR, one of the latter cars driven at the time by Jeff Lees and Olaf Olofsson. And this is the V12 BMW engine in the back of it, masterminded in design by Gordon Murray for the chassis and Paul Rocher on behalf of BMW for the engine. Gordon Murray had a strict policy of what needed to be done on the car as a road car, particularly with the weight. Rocher came back and he said, my engine is heavier than you wanted, Gordon, but it's got more power. It won Le Mans with the initial racing version back in 1995. Rasenori Sakaya, JJ Leto and Yannick Daumas at the wheel, and then they developed the car with the LM car and then the Longtail. This is one of the latter versions.
The extraordinary thing was that the road car was quicker in top speed than the racer, because the racer was constrained.
With the aerodynamics.
Exactly.
With the aerodynamics, and the road car much more slippery. Only made 101 chassis in total. Meanwhile, here's Ben Collins in the American Ford F-150 Raptor. This is a car that has been racing in the desert rally raid races in America. It recently did the Mint 400, one of the big Baja races, the off-road races that they have in America. They have the Baja 1000, which is the most popular race. That's in late October, early November. And that is 1,000 miles non-stop. They have the Baja 500 and the Mint 400. That car did well in it. This is a car from Le Mans last weekend. Ross Gunn, one of the Aston Martin young guns, young drivers, driving the car fresh from Le Mans with that huge, great diffuser out of the back. This is the car that Fernando Reis drove last weekend. One of the 4 car efforts that Aston Martin had at Le Mans. Built and engineered over the last decade now by ProDrive. Their new premises you will have seen on the side of the motorway at Banbury in Oxfordshire, and a great sound emanating from the back of that car. He's having a go, isn't he? He's got his toe in with the number 97. Sounds wonderful. Wonderful.
Over the line, not timed, followed by the classic Porsche 935. It's on its way.
Scott Pruitt here at Goodwood. I think it's the first time for him. Now here, this is the baby Porsche, isn't it? This is a 2-litre
935.
It was built to stop, I think, one of the other manufacturers in the German Championship from winning, so they built a car for a one-off race towards the end of the season, and it's a completely unique car, sleeved down from its regular capacity. And Chris, it's Martini colours. It's a Martini Porsche. It's going quickly when it's standing still.
What could be better? To the Drivers' Club, Sterling is such a great relationship manager.
Now, Audi Quattro won the World Rally Championship back in 1983, and the Quattro dynasty had started. This is the latest incarnation of Quattro in rallying. This is Andrew Jordan at the wheel of Matthias Ekstrom's Audi World Rallycross car. Matthias Ekstrom not able to be here this weekend. He is racing in the DTM at the moment. And just look at the electrifying acceleration. 0 to 62 miles an hour in 1.8 seconds. 650 horsepower with this Audi S1, and a car that is just mind-blowing to see, to hear, to smell, and to be in as a driver or a passenger. This is an epitome of 2016 power, technology, strength of transmission, and skill of driver. Whether or not it's the Global Rallycross Championship or the World Rallycross Championship, that is a stunning, stunning vehicle. if that was a timed run, even stopping halfway up, it would still be very, very fast indeed.
Quick glimpse at the 936. We've seen the 935, 936 built to take over where the 917 left off for long distance racing.
LMP2 class at Le Mans. LMP1 cars obviously still got the advantage of speed. And great to see the Hepworths got going again.
Yeah, isn't that good? Hepworth GB1, built for Can-Am, for the central seat Can-Am. Danny Sullivan was going to drive it, but it crashed in practice in testing and never appeared. And the Hepworth boys have worked again, as they did with the BRM 154. They've worked to rebuild and recreate this car. Not the prettiest.
I think it is actually. I quite like it. It's so bonkers. I love it.
Yeah, Henry said if you get your kid to draw a Can-Am car, this is what they would draw.
Exactly. Again, let's go back to Le Mans. This is the Chevy Corvette from the GTE Pro category. The Chevys that won the Daytona, first and second at the Daytona 24 Hours this year, earlier in the racing season. And that looks like the Le Mans winning Porsche from just last weekend. Should be Brendan Hartley at the wheel, the reigning World Endurance Champion, together with his teammates Timo Benhard and Mark Webber. But it was Neil Jarni, Mark Lieb and Roman Dumas who were victorious at the Le Mans 24-hour race at the very last lap last weekend in the LMP1 hybrid class. It was the number 2 Porsche that won, making it 18 Porsche victories in total, extending its advantage at the top of the table of manufacturer victories at Le Mans 24 Hours.
And Porsche have been so gracious in their post-race publicity in giving great credit to Toyota and congratulating them on the fabulous battle they had until the last lap.
A 2-litre V4 turbocharged engine is the petrol engine mounted behind the driver. It is absolutely tiny, but hybrid power being taken off the turbocharger and being harvested off the front drive shafts when the driver is on the brakes and then redeployed into powering the vehicle on the exit of a corner, giving this car over 1,000 horsepower. That was a car that Juan Pablo Montoya drove at the season end in Bahrain, and he said it was out of this world.
McLaren.
This is a car with nearly 1,000 horsepower. This is the P1 LM. Kenny Brack at the wheel. Indy 500 victor.
And he's not hanging around. Is this being timed?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Could be a fastest run today.
Now, he did a 49.6 in a dry practice run on Friday. 49.6 he's got to beat, and he's going to beat it. 48.7, 132, nearly 133 miles an hour as he shot across the line. I think Dean Lanzanti and the Lanzanti boys will be very happy with that. It's not going to be. Let's ride with him as he leaves the line. Lets the clutch in. Go! Little bit of opposite lock. That's first gear. That's second. Holds it in second for the first right-hander. That's a big wheel, not much power steering. He's going to go for third into the second right-hander. Over the crown of the road, he's fighting that wheel up to fourth gear underneath the bridge. He'll be topping out. Indeed, he did top out on the brakes at 84 miles an hour, but he would have topped out at maybe 120 miles an hour. And it came into the left-hander, and something has gone awry. That's a real shame, but let's hope they can get that thing sorted by the time we have our top 20 shootout later today. Oh, the wheel! It's the wheel! It's the front right wheel that's come adrift, and it's completely gone awry. I thought there was something in the steering input, so something on the upright, the wheel nut has come off, and that has meant that as he turned into the left-hander, all the force was on the right-hand wheel, and it popped off.
Absolutely fantastic. The Olympic gold medalist donuts the BMW Z4 GT3 around in front of the house. Give him a very special welcome, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to donut the car around just outside the entrance to the Formula One paddock. Round it goes. Just touched the bail there, didn't he, and clipped the sign. It's a tiny bit of cosmetic damage, grunting through Moulcombe. We stick with Alex Zanardi as he comes through the flint wall. Di Llewellyn is on course behind him in the Audi Sport Quattro. The S1, the last of the bewinged Group B monsters. Winner in San Remo in 1985. We'll see that on the hill in a moment. But we're with Alex Zanardi. Oh, there is David Llewellyn. He is absolutely stonking in that thing. Goodness me, that's quick. And following it, its great nemesis, the Lancia Delta S4. Mark Sumter at the wheel of the turbocharged and supercharged monster from 1985-86. Won on its debut on the Lombard RAC Rally in 1985 in the hands of Henry Toivonen. And of course, the great Finn lost his life in one of these cars in Corsica in 1986. A wonderful Martini livery. You can hear the turbocharger and the supercharger whistling and whining away as he shuts the throttle as he comes up to the corners, flicks it through the right-left S-bend up the flint wall. Just one corner to go for the magnificent Group B Lancia Delta S4. One of several cars here this weekend from the halcyon days of Group B rallying. Quattro already at the top, and there's the Lancia. They're followed up by charismatic Frenchman Jean Ragnotti. He is reunited with the Renault 5 Maxi Turbo he used to win in Corsica in 1985. Been coming to the festival for many years, always spectacular. 5 to 4, we'll see some spectacular times. So a glimpse there of the Ferrari 308 Group B rally car, Chris Wilson's car, an unusual but popular sight in rallying. 3-litre V8 Italian machine, complete with original lamp pod. There's a great shot of the front of the Fizzer as it comes across the line. Mauro Ambrogi in the Lancia Stratos, another wonderful Italian World Rally weapon. The checkered flag liveried machine. Checkered flag, of course, the garage owned by Graham Warner. He ran various cars as a privateer in racing and rallying. And he's given chase by John Howell in the 124 Fiat Abarth, a car that predates the Stratos by a few years. So the car in which another of the great rally Finns, Marco Alén, made his name. In the Fiesta was the last car in the batch. The support vehicles make their way up to the top. We'll catch up with Bruce in a moment to speak to some of those guys. Here are some highlights on the screen of that last batch of cars, our touring cars and rally machines. We started off with the biggest machine in the place, the Kamaz truck, the 17.2 litre turbo diesel monster. Dmitry Svetnikov driving that, and he's throwing it around as though it was a tenth of the size and a tenth of the weight. Patrick Friesacker, always spectacular, massively sideways under full power off the line. He spin turns the Red Bull Toyota at the top. Great shot of former DTM race winner, German lady racer Ellen Law at the wheel of the Mercedes truck. Richard Childress, the great NASCAR team owner, is here and showing us how it's done in one of his Sprint Cup cars. Andrew Jordan, spectacular in Matthias Ekstrom's S1 rallycross machine. Very, very fast, huge amounts of power, total traction from the four-wheel drive, and a big turbo propelling the little Audi up the hill at a furious rate of knots. Our drifters were as spectacular as ever. James Dean massively crossed up into Moulcombe. Oh, Butsy Butler doing the thing at the top there. Round and round he goes. Finger out of the window to try and get Bruce to get all these guys in one place. Only got it stuck on the grass, didn't he? Mad Mike with it, making his 6th climb of the weekend in the ferocious Mazda RX-8. Onboard shots there of the fantastic hydraulic handbrake that he uses to get this car to change direction at a furious rate of knots. Vaughan Gittin Jr. lost a bit of bodywork, and it finally became fully detached right outside the commentary box at Moulcombe. A welcome debutant at the Festival of Speed. Alex Zanardi, the great IndyCar hero, ex-Formula One racer, and now an Olympic gold medalist. He came up in the Raoul Motorsports BMW Z4 GT3. We had some glorious rally cars on the course, didn't we? The Audi Quattro Sport, the Lancia Delta S4, the Renault 5 Maxi Turbo of Jean Ragnotti, and a high-speed spin turn in its own length. He's got car control to give away, that man, as has Liam Duran, the Rallycross ace, hammering across the line in the Citroën.
During the day, but that's a pretty funky car, and I think it's a lovely shape, lovely aerodynamics, and a design that will still look good in some 30-40 years' time.
He got the twirly finger from Alan on the start line, and off he goes.
Here we come then, the Renault RS01, the one-make series racer. It's Adam Morgan driving that car. Is that the same Adam Morgan we've seen in the Mercedes BTCC car?
Don't think so.
No,
Don't think so, because I think they're in the same batch earlier.
You are making 10 pence now.
As he comes up towards the Moulcombe corner, and the lovely growl of the Renault as it makes its way up towards the top of the hill. Spitting flame goes the Renault, and the noise is now on the way. This is the Mazda 787, the rotary engine car. What a noise!
That's wonderful, isn't it? Le Mans winner in 1991, the only Japanese mark to win at Le Mans. Moritz Werner at the wheel.
Well, what a showcase they have put forward here at Goodwood today. Matt Neal, he won. He was leading the British Touring Car mini shootout within a shootout. He did a 56.3, and he laid the gauntlet down. Kelvin Fletcher, unfortunately, well, he just outjudged his braking point at Moulcombe, and he went straight on into the bales. He was perfectly okay. Then Sam Tordoff went up, and he tried to chase Matt Neal. He was quick on the lower half of the hill, but he just lost out to the Honda towards the top. The BMW, though, showing its prowess in the lower reaches of this 1.1 mile hill climb. Josh Cook, he finished third with the MG, the British Touring Car machine. He did that 56.84, but it was all down to Andrew Jordan, the 2013 BTCC champion, who went quickest with a 55.5 to beat Neal into second and Cook into third position for the British Touring Car shootout. Julian Mazub in the Alfa Romeo 308C flung the car sideways. David Franklin did a tremendous run with the 1969 3-litre Ferrari Spider. 53 seconds. Was he committed with such an expensive car past the Flint wall? Oh yes, he was. That is how a racing car should sound. The crowd really got into the spirit of things as they saw car and driver get quicker and quicker. Jordan Gregor in the Hesketh Cosworth 308B did a 52.49, and he finished well inside the top 10. He had all thumbs up for us at the top of the hill. Andrew Newell with the massive McLaren Chevy did 128 miles an hour when he crossed the finish line, 51.01 seconds by the time he broke the beam. That's a big car, and you need to be a big driver to drive it. Everybody loved the intense speed and focus of each driver as Sally Mason Stirran celebrated up there with the, at the point, quickest man. What a committed run. What a great run by American Mike Skinner up past the wall. And it was down to Liam Duran to see if he could then put his World Rallycross car at the top of the pile, but unfortunately he had a technical problem. Kenny Brack rushed up with the brand new McLaren, 47.07. He eventually finished in second position, but it was then all down to Ollie Clark to beat that 47.07, and he did just that with a 46.29 second run. And Ollie Clark takes best time of day here at Goodwood for the second year in a row. He is the king of the Goodwood hill climb.
Oh, that's absolutely stonking. You see the speed he carried through that last corner, right out to the bales on the exits, and a hug from the team. And he got a hug from Lord March as well. A second straight win, and top paddock champagne spraying ceremony for Ollie Clark in Gobstopper 2, a ferocious 860 horsepower Subaru Impreza. And I think, Toby, the crowd rather enjoyed that.
Did you?
I did.
So did I. Could you tell? Yeah. Oh, brilliant, brilliant. And I love the way that the crescendo builds with the, you know, not the slower cars, just the less quicker cars at the beginning. And then we had our shootout within a shootout with the British touring car guys. Always needle there, isn't there?
Less quick, that's right. It's none of them are slow.
None of them are slow.
Not even the pre-war and sort of ancient Leviathans from the turn of the 20th century are slow.
No, and then when the specialist cars get into their stride, that's when you really see the speed. We can maybe catch up with our colleagues at the top of the hill with the rally stage.
Yes, indeed. There are some pictures on the screen of the Forest Rally stage. It's coming to a close fairly soon. Zav, you're up there on your own because I know Tony's down here in the box next to me talking about hill climbing. How's it going up there, my friend?
Well, if you're watching the footage that I am at the moment, we have had a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, and I can't stress that highly enough. I mean, the course dried out this afternoon, Henry, and as it dried out, people's competitive edge got stuck in. We got faster and faster times. Even we had deer brushing in to watch. We had spins. Ben Mellors won the Prix 84 class. Gary Lecadeau won the 84 2000 class. And David Wright, who you've just seen, was amazing in the class 2000 to date. It's been a great afternoon.
You've got a wonderful array of cars, haven't you? From the spindly little Lancia Fulvius of the 1960s up to the turbo four-wheel drive Imprezas, even the V8 Forenza donutting there.
Yeah, 380 horsepower, and I think he was trying to use every single one of them. Gilles de Villiers, he didn't know what the word lift meant. We had drivers with hashtag thanks Goodwood out through the window, through the cameras. It's been superb here this afternoon.
Wonderful scenes up there, Zav, including that very original ProDrive Subaru Legacy RS, the short wheelbase Quattro, the Belga 911. What a great array of cars, and they've been in their own little paddock shelter, haven't they, for people to come and ogle all weekend.
Yeah, I mean, we've had a quadrangle up here. There are cars on display that weren't on the stage, worth a lot of money, but the beauty of it is people could access them, the bonnets were open, you could photograph them, meet the drivers, go up and see cars. This was somebody who was caught short and then realised they were on the line and ready to go. Great footage. There's been some terrific displays here today.
Right, final question, Zav. I'm going to put you on the spot, mate. Your favourite car of the weekend up there?
I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to say Rob Gill in the Ford Fiesta R5 because he was our driver of the weekend.
Okay, I'm going to plump for the Martini Lancia 037. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zav. Good to talk to you again. Enjoy the rest of the Forest Rally stage, and I'm sure we'll look forward to more fun and games up there with you next year.